go back then to that story of smart motorways. The fourth target to boost safety has been missed. This is according to National Highways. The government-owned company admitted that it failed to achieve a 10-minute response time target for reaching stopped vehicles, and they were meant to do this by the end of September. They failed. Smart motorways involve various methods, of course, to manage flows of traffic, such as converting a hard shoulder into a live running lane. But major safety concerns have been raised following fatal incidents involving vehicles stopped in traffic being hit from behind. What is your experience of using a smart motorway? Nick Freeman is a lawyer and road safety campaigner. Nick, afternoon to you. I've said this all along. Smart motorways might work if every single scintilla of detail is in place all the time, every time, and everything about it, including the drivers, all of them are smart. If you can't tick all of those boxes, then they fall by the wayside. Is that about right?
I think you've got it spot on. I think the design is fundamentally flawed. Even with they're making progress. They're making progress on something that's never really going to be very safe. If you're in, middle lane, the outside lane, you have a blowout and there's no emergency, there's no hard shoulder to go to. You have a system whereby a camera should detect your vehicle becoming stationary. I think that's about 20 seconds if it's working correctly. They then have to close that lane. Well, how many cars are travelling at a speed and you're there stranded in a hard shoulder, in a live carriageway? There's just nowhere to go. So as I say, the design is fundamentally flawed, and in my view, they should call it a day. That there has been a significant rise in fatalities, and I think unless there's going to be an emergency shoulder within at least every kilometre, they should just keep the one lane, the near side lane, permanently closed and use it as a hard shoulder and just say, look, we've made a mistake here. Yeah. We've wasted a lot of money, but we need to prioritise safety.
People who are supporters of smart motorways, Nick, often say, well, hang on, we have dual carriageways, so they don't have hard shoulders, so how do they get along just fine?
Well, I think they have far less traffic. People drive differently, don't they? And there is normally somewhere to squeeze your vehicle onto when that happens, but the traffic flow normally on a dual carriageway is far less. Smart motorways, you're talking 4 lanes. We're used to motorways where you have an escape, and I use them frequently, and I always think, if I have a puncture, if I have a breakdown, what are your chances of not being hit? And my view is they're not great, and that's never a good situation to be in. Yeah,
so in theory, what's meant to happen is that the cameras, are these automated? Is there a system within the cameras that picks it up automatically? A car has stopped in that lane, bang, on go the big red crosses.
Not straight away.
That's meant to happen straight away.
No, it doesn't happen straight away. I think it happens within the first 20 seconds. So there is a time lag. It doesn't happen straight away.
Well, that's a pretty tricky 20 seconds, I think, isn't it?
Well, it's very hairy. And you may be aware, and there's been huge problems getting these cameras working. Many of them haven't worked. So all credit to the government. They've now got them working. Yeah. So this is all progress. They're 3/4 of the way there. But as you rightly said, you need every motorist to drive properly. And even then, if a car breaks down, that's not through the fault of the motorist. We've got a situation where you're playing Russian roulette. All you want is someone behind you who's travelling too close, and what are they going to do? They're going to hit you.
Yeah, and also we've all been on motorways when you've seen that red X and the entire lane next to you with the red X just completely ignores it. They carry on going thinking, I'll filter in at a later stage.
Yeah, well, I think, there's a great deal of ignorance, I'm afraid, by motorists, and they need to learn the highway code. They need to learn what signage is, because it's particularly dangerous. The good thing is that they now have cameras that can detect people who break that law, and this is only very recent. Prior to that, you could go through that X. When it was closed, you get no punishment, nothing would ever happen to you. Now you'll get stopped. You'll receive a notice through the post, and it's worth 3 points. So motorists should be alive to that situation, and they need educating. They should actually know the highway code.
Indeed. Nick, thank you. Nick Freeman, lawyer and road safety campaigner on smart motorways. I have to say, I've